ready to flow. Let's dive deep with Pisces Tarot.
Your business is my business. I see every ache, every kiss, the push, the pull, the silent cries. I'm exposing all the lies, revealing the hidden truth. With me, you have the proof. Your business is my business. True.
Welcome to Pisces Tarot. True.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Pisces Tarot, everybody. I am your host. I am Mimi Lightseer, and over here, your business is my business. Today, we are tuned into an episode of Clarity for Couples. This is my daily love reading, y'all. And of course, this is not just entertainment. This is insight-driven awareness centered with precision to enable you to be able to face the truth, in other words, right? This is where truth is suffered. This is where truth is suffered. Blah, 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 blah. The truth is surfaced, illusions are dismantled, and relationship dynamics are examined with clarity and precision, okay? We are here to not only understand the energy, but it's not my job to sugarcoat it, okay? If you've been confused, emotionally activated, or stuck in a connection that does not fully make sense, Spirit has something for you. And it is not random that you are here, y'all. So stick with me throughout this hour or so, and we will look to see what Spirit has for you today, okay? Now, using my intuitive, psychic, and tarot insight, I will unpack the emotional patterns, subconscious signals, and their energetic themes that is shaping the connection between you and your person. Whether you are new in love, navigating it, questioning intentions, or standing at the crossroads, this space is designed to give you clarity and perspective that you can actually use. This is a collective reading, so take what aligns and leave what doesn't. Now, if y'all there, holla if you hear me, throw those stars in the chat, because baby, I am trying to tell you, I am ready for this. Now, if you're ready, put your stars in the chat so I know that you're here. But in the meantime, let's get ready to do our grounding and energetic cleanse. Now, before we go deeper, it's important that we level set and ground ourselves. Listen, today, it's a full moon in Leo. People were showing their tail in the workplace. We got to clean up our energy before we get into this. So to do so, we are going to cleanse the energy, and then we're going to follow this with a guided meditation. Remember that grounding keeps you not only protected, but receptive, okay? I could bring what Spirit got to say all day long, but if you're not in a position to receive it, it's a mute point, okay? So we want Spirit to come through with accuracy and not chaos, all right? So here we go. Let's inhale 3 deep breaths together. We're going to first inhale clarity and exhale distractions. Here we go. Next, let's inhale freedom and exhale emotional weight. And lastly, let's inhale truth and exhale fear. Divine White Light, you are welcome here. We welcome you with clear and precise messages for those who are here presently and those who will be here in the future. Thank you. Amen and I say. All right, y'all. So this is your quick reminder that this is a sacred space, but it can get very raw and honest. And sometimes people are left feeling very vulnerable. Remember that Spirit is here to challenge you out of your comfort zone, to bring awareness, not to punish you. So let's get ready, y'all. If y'all are ready for Spirit to come through, I want you to go ahead and put the cooking emoji, because baby, I I got some messages for you. Hey, Myra, welcome, welcome, welcome. Here we go. So let's check the current temperature of what's going on, right? Of you or your person. And today we're going to start out with the overall energy reading. What in the world is going on? Who is digging? Who is digging? What are they digging for? They digging for gold? They digging for, I don't know. Okay, this card just fell out of my lap, exposed and revealed with the eye wide open. Okay, so I'm going to take this because this card fell straight out for me to see it. Now, the reason why I opted to take this card, exposed and revealed, again, remember what I said. Why do I feel the way I do when all I can do is think about you? What was it in that line that made me fall for you? Do you know I'm digging, digging, digging on you? Something was exposed and revealed to them. Okay, that somebody saw you. Either you saw your person or they saw you in a different light. Okay, this has been exposed and revealed. There could have been a conversation that was had that opened up their eyes to see the real vulnerable, raw sides of you. The sides of you that is not sugar-coated, the sides of you that are unpleasant, the sides of you that are vulnerable and extremely intimate. And the reason why I say that, y'all, is because if you zoom in on this eye, there is someone naked here in a fetal position. Okay. And as you can see down below, all the colors of one's aura, all of the colors of one's chakras are present here. Okay. So that tells me that they saw you in a total different way than what they have ever seen you before. Okay. The veil has been lifted. They have been exposed and or revealed. Now, when we look at the truth that we need to know right now for your journey, what is going on here? What is the truth that these individuals that are here presently and in the future need to face on their journey? Okay, you can't hear me again? I don't know why you can't. You guys can't hear me? Okay, let me see. The truth that we need to hear right now for our journey is surrender. Okay, surrender. I need to release my need to control. This is about you releasing the control, right? Releasing the need to try to control the narrative, trying to control how you're being viewed, how you're being perceived, how things are going. Okay, this is what this is about. Surrender. Now let's see. Guides of the hidden realms. What messages do you have? Okay. Connected through the cosmos, community, everything is connected. The law of reciprocity. Okay. So this is about there being a connection through the cosmos. This was divinely placed here. This was a divine strategic alignment that has manifested itself where everything is coming together for your greatest and your highest good. Okay. Spirit, what is one of the prayers that you have for them? What is one of the prayers that you have? True nature. I know the eternal. Change me, divine beloved, into one who knows the true nature of our souls. Awaken me to acknowledge the knowledge of the eternal. Let me know my true self as consciousness. Okay. So this is about the true nature. As I said previously, someone is getting to know you in a different way. Their eyes have been opened and revealed, and they are now realizing that they see you in a different way than what they have been seeing you before. Okay. So I want to know, who is this about? All right, here we go. All right, so I don't know if you guys heard me or not, because I did get a report that we had no sound. And if that is the case, I do apologize. I am working with my provider because I did notice that happened the other day. Now, as we move into the discovery phase, okay? And now for some reason, I believe it's only in that portion of the reading. But nevertheless, as we move into the discovery phase, okay? I will identify things, friction points, relational blind spots between you and your person. So I'm going to pull a bunch of cards. And then what will happen is I will come back to this and I will reorganize the cards in a way to where we have clear identification of who is who in this connection, okay? All right, Spirit. What are some cosmic insights? What are some cosmic insights? Cosmic insights. Okay. Distance. You and your partner may be physically or emotionally distant. Okay. So we do have some distance here. Okay. In this connection. Perhaps given that fact that I said that someone's eyes were opened and revealed, it possibly was the fact that there was a strain in this connection before. Okay. There was a mental strain of some sort between you and your person. There was a disconnect. It wasn't like there wasn't attraction, but the disconnect that I'm feeling is like something was like blocking the connection, right? Something was hindering the connection. There was attraction. Obviously, there was physical attraction, right? But it was like, you know how when you meet some people and sometimes when you get to know them, it's like, it's just not connecting, like the gel isn't gelling. It's just not a cohesive, vibrant relationship. So to me, it feels like earlier in this connection, it was like, you're cool, but it's nothing that I can do with this connection, right? So there may be possibly some mental or physical distance between the two of you. Again, reiterating the fact that something occurred where their eyes were open, your soul was exposed and revealed to them, and they fell for it. Okay, it was nothing like before in the past, right? I'll give you an example too. Sometimes people are in a connection together and like you break up for whatever reason. Y'all stop talking, life, see y'all move on and y'all reconnect. And it's like, dang, why didn't this work out the first time between us? Like, I'm trying to figure out like where I went wrong. That's another example of a physical and mental distance, but time repositioned itself where you guys were able to not only come back into this connection, but you guys were able to see each other differently this time around, okay? What is the news? What is the news? Oh boy, somebody might be pregnant. We got knocked up. Pregnant, expecting, and mothering. So this may be it too. Ladies and gentlemen, guard your loins and clutch your pearls. Somebody may be pregnant, okay? What is the tea? What is the tea? What is the tea? Okay, we have a spiritual hater here. Someone is being hated on. Someone hates your spirituality, your light, your magic, your power. So there is somebody here. It feels like an ex more than anything that is here that is being a spiritual hater. It's so funny that this card just came out because I literally was just having a conversation moments before I went live about how people can be envious and jealous of you, and there's no insight, there's no rhyme or reason as to why things are the way that they are. They just happen to be the way that they're happening, okay? So I do feel strongly like that is the situation where someone here is a spiritual hater. So that could be going on. When I look at the broken mirror, what do we see? When I look into the broken mirror, what do we see? Okay, we have high value here. We have the Empress, beautiful, sexy, abundant, and confident. Okay, this card has came out. So remember I said someone is digging on you. Okay, someone is definitely digging on you. Also, what fell out was mind games. Okay, we have here immature, testing you, analyzing you. This also popped up here. Okay, so somebody is definitely playing mind games with you in this connection, and it could be the particular person who was not expecting for things to become what they have become and evolved. What lies beneath all of this? What lies beneath all of this, Spirit? What lies beneath all of this? Bugaboo. Okay, bugaboo. Somebody is overly interested. Again, not the thumbs down. Look at Spirit playing games about some nope. Yeah, somebody's up there overly interested in you. Okay, overly interested in you. Okay, so let's see. What is the true emotion here? What is the true emotion here? What is the true emotion here? Okay. We got funeral here. Okay. When I get this card, I am going to state it again. There is not a death per se between you and this person. This is more like a death between this person and someone from the past. I said it earlier with the spiritual hater card. I'm going to say it again. Someone recently came to the conclusion, recently came into the awareness that they are madly in love with you. Okay. They are digging on you. They can't figure it out. Something just went, the light bulb came on, the veil over their eyes, the crust out of their eyes, whatever you want to call it. Finally, they see. Okay. Whereas before the vision was a little bit blurry, it was something that was said in this intimate connection that exposed the raw and vulnerable sides of you to them, that drew you. It was like a spiritual connection at that point where it was like, I don't know what it is about you, but I'm into this, and I'm not interested in entertaining nobody else. I'm not interested in playing games with anybody else. I know what I want, and I want you. Okay. Now, what is potentially blocking this connection, Spirit? What is potentially blocking? Ah! Come on, shuffle the shuffle. All right, what is potentially blocking this connection? What is potentially blocking this connection? Expectations. When you expect too much, no one measures up. Ditch your list. Want what's real. Okay. So possibly either you or your person have been having high expectations. You come with this list of things that you want. And that's also possibly why there was an initial mismatch in this, because this person wasn't checking all your boxes. And then they just so happen to say something that got your ears standing up, and you're like, huh. And you looking at them differently, okay? Now, is there love in this connection, Spirit? Is there love in this connection? Give me a clear yes or no. Is there love in this connection? Give me a clear yes or no. Dog, that's too many. I'm going to keep this one. Look, if you say me, I will say yes. Okay, there is a whole lot of love here with this flowers wide open, those beautiful male flowers. If you ask me, the answer is yes, they're ready. What messages do you have for them, Spirit? What messages do you have for them to help them grow? Okay, surrender came up again. You're being asked to let go of your need to control every part of your life and surrender to the universe. Control is an illusion, and it is exhausting to try to hold on to it. Let go and allow yourself to enjoy the relief that comes from doing so. So this is about you surrendering. Again, this is the second time surrender has come up. So this is something, this is an issue of some sort that you are working to overcome. Okay, we also got celebrate here. All right. You're being asked to celebrate a recent accomplishment, no matter how big or small. Do something special to commemorate the moment. You deserve that and so much more. Okay. So this is asking for you to celebrate as well. Lastly, what other message do you have for us, Spirit? What other issue do we need to be aware of? We have Mountain, okay? With the 8 of clubs, which is equivalent to the 8 of wands, which is fast moving energy. However, as you look at this card, this is a plane heading straight for a mountain. So that tells me that there is an obstacle that you're coming straight into right away that you have to course correct immediately, okay? Now, why is this important? Remember, I told you, there is an X. They are here, okay? So, let's dig into this real good. What in the world is going on here that we need to be aware of? I definitely feel like person A is feminine energy. I do feel like they're the high value person in all this. They're the empress. They're the apple of the eye. I definitely feel like there was some type of expectations here in the past that was doing too much that caused this to be an energetic misalignment. Okay. But you have been asked to focus on what's real. I do feel like with that, the surrender card has been here. Okay. Corroborating what has come out before about the need to control the narrative. Spirit is telling you, let go of all that stuff and just do what you need to do. Do what needs to be done. Okay. I do feel like initially it felt like there was some mind games being played between you and your person. Okay. This was immature. They were testing you and analyzing you, which also could be that need to release, right? And as a result, I do feel like there was some distance between you and this person. Again, you guys came together. There was some discourse. There was a separation, right? Now, person B. Oh, I'm going to put person A. You're the one that's pregnant because I'm going to say person A is the feminine energy here. Okay. So person A is definitely the one that's knocked up and or pregnant. Person B here had some things that they needed to overcome, right? They weren't totally ready for a relationship. Like they were still dealing with an ex. And that's where I feel like this funeral needed to take place. And that's why Spirit is saying celebrate, because it was hard for them to leave this other person in the past. They were very much so still attached, like caught up, like a stronghold. And I believe truly that's where the spiritual hater is coming from. Not necessarily hating on them, but hating on you. Okay. Again, there was a reconnection of some sort. This person B has become a bugaboo, and now they're just really waiting on you. Okay. They're really waiting on you to give them some insight as to what they want to do or what you want to do with them. All right. So, with that being said, whose business are we about to get into? I want to see the drums in the chat, drums in the chat, drums in the chat, because I want to know whose business is this? So, whose energy are we working with today? Person A. Who is person A, Spirit? Who is this person A? Feminine energy. Okay. Person A is coming in as the Queen of Pentacles in reverse. This is your Virgos, Tauruses, and Capricorn. So if you or your person is an earth sign, go ahead and put the earth signs in the chat. We have Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn coming in reverse of the Queen of Pentacles as financial independence, self-care, work home, conflict, self-centered, jealousy, and smothering. Okay. Sounds about right. Now, who is person B in all of this? Well, who's the person who's smitten? Who's the person that's over here digging on you? Good question. Y'all, I didn't even get a chance to shuffle the cards. The other person that we're talking about is also a Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. So if you or your person is a Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, go ahead and drop those earth signs in the chat, earth signs, because we are in your business. Remember, I do my readings for Sun, Moon, and Venus rising. Person B is coming in as the Two of Pentacles multiple priorities, which goes back to the X we talked about, time management, adaptability, and balancing decisions. Okay. So if y'all ready to get into this, I'm ready to see what Spirit got to say, because I want to know why they digging on you. Like they didn't see it before, and now they over here in cuckoo land.
They said.
So if y'all ready to get into it, here we go. All right, earth signs, what we got going on for you? Okay, now let's look at this. Now that we have the foundational energy out the way, okay, we about to really get up in somebody's business. This is where I integrate everything that I've told you so far. This is where I merge the energies of not only the psychic, intuitive, but the tarot card reading, okay? So let's go. What is going on here? Let's see. Okay, person A. Person A is coming in at the 3 of Wands upright. Okay, the 3 of Wands upright. This is all about the opportunity to expand, looking ahead, growing, and traveling. So I definitely feel like, and I did tell you guys early on in the beginning of the reading, I talked about this full moon being in Leo, and I'm pointing that out because on this card, we do have a full moon here. Okay, let me push this over so y'all can see. So we do have this full moon here. All right, now let me see if this makes it better. Not really, but okay. So with this full moon here, okay, I definitely think that there's something going on right here right now, but it definitely feels like person A has been sitting back and watching their ships come and go. Okay, remember I told you earlier in the reading that this was a connection at first, and for some reason or another, this connection did not go the distance. Okay, so it was just a miss, and it felt like, yeah, it might have been a good, attraction initially. What we have going on here, we were like 2 ships passing in the night. Okay, and I'm pointing to that because on this particular card, we have 2 ships that are distant, and there's another distant here. Okay, so as this person is sitting back and watching the ships come and go, it's kind of giving me the feeling of, why can't I just find somebody to settle down with? Like thinking about what can they possibly do differently, thinking about how they can explore all of their options, just kind of doing that reassessment that people give themselves when they're in between relationships. Okay, so it definitely feels like here there was some type of assessment being conducted on like where we are, what we're doing, and how we're progressing to move forward. Okay, now person B, what is their present energy? That is too many cards. Person B. Person B is coming in as the 8 of Swords in reverse. Okay, the 8 of Swords in reverse. It feels like person B. Okay, we got to talk about this other person. We got to get to talking about this X, because this X is popping up again. Okay, now what is interesting about this connection is this feels like this was an on again, off again, third party situation, where person B will be single, but they're not really fully committed to being single. Like they keep dealing with this other person and entertaining them in ways that were inappropriate, I guess you can say, because they were still entertaining other people, but technically they were single, if that makes sense. So not only is this person single, but they're misleading other people. Okay, so they're going around here making themselves available, talking all this game, but really their heart wasn't in it, if that makes sense. So they were misleading not only you, person A, but they were also misleading this X person that's been here. Okay, so that was the challenge that y'all had to overcome, was them finally cutting that cord. Okay, that definitely was a lot to ask of, right? Because it feels like this person was in the picture for a long time. Okay, a long time. So this was a long-term relationship. I don't necessarily know if there was a marriage. All I could tell you was that it was a long-term relationship.
2,000 years later.
So let's look at, they finally just decided enough is enough. Like, they were juggling you, stayed around in the situation way too long, and then was compromising and sabotaging themselves because they weren't really available to really commit to nothing new. Okay. Now, what is the true feelings of person A? We got the King of Cups. Okay. Person A is ready to love. Okay. They're ready for a mature love. They're ready for a legacy. They're ready for a family. They're ready to be productive. They're ready to be loving and full of all of the emotions. Like, they know exactly what they want. Okay. They know exactly what they want. But every time they try to go down that path with somebody, they were just blocked. And so it definitely feels like person A may have been sitting back with the woe is me and trying to understand, like, where were they going wrong? Again, going back to look at all these ships that passed. None of these were my ship. None of these were my answer. None of these were the opportunities for me. Like, what's wrong with me? And I definitely feel like they were dealing with this person B playing a lot of mind games. Okay. Now, what is the emotion that person A is trying to avoid? We got the Star. Okay. Person A is trying to avoid being disappointed, trying to avoid being hurt, trying to avoid being like a hopeless romantic. Okay. Trying to keep their cool, keep their wits about them, not take it personal, but also recognizing, like, I can't give my hopes up. I can't get all excited about you because, yes, I'm attracted to you, but I also feel like you're playing games with me. And so it came to the point where it's like, okay, if you can't get yourself together, then maybe I'll just move around because this feels like we're not going nowhere. Like I said, it was just like their attraction, and then it wasn't there, but there was no real substance as to why there was a void there. There was no real substance as to why it didn't move forward. Okay. It was just like, they just fell off the face of the earth.
I'm telling you right now, that motherfucker back there is not real.
So when we look at person B, what are the feelings that person B is experiencing right now? We have the Temperance in reverse. Okay. Person B, again, has dealt with a lot of imbalance, things out of order in their lives. And a lot of this was definitely tied to this other person that was in the picture. Okay. It's been time. It has been time. I cannot overstate how long it's been for this other person to be here, taking up space, doing nothing. Okay. So this was a lot of conflict and chaos that was unbeknownst to you. So congratulations, person A, you definitely dodged a bullet. It was never you. Okay. It was never you. You were never the issue. You were never the problem. This was all this other person not properly being ready and adequately prepared. There was an unwillingness, right? They were still holding on to this person in the past, which goes back to them juggling and staying around too long. Okay. They were making poor decisions because they weren't thinking from a clear headspace. They were not ready. They simply put, were not ready. Okay. Now, what is the emotion that person B is trying to avoid right now? We got the Knight of Pentacles. Okay. They are trying to avoid feeling like things are not coming around for them. They're tired of feeling like, I'm waiting. And they possibly are trying to avoid the fact that they have been overly patient. They have worked super hard. They have been overly invested in this connection only for it to go nowhere. Okay. So seemingly both of these are positive things to try to avoid, but at the same time, these are kind of detrimental things. Okay. That can hinder the progress of a relationship. So if you ever wanted to know why things never worked out, it was because they had somebody else still in the picture and they were not ready. And we just have to deal with that simply. Okay. Now, the question then becomes, what is most favorable about this connection? Okay. Dog, that was the Four of Wands. Real quick. There is a lot of happiness here. Okay, there's a lot of joy. There's a lot of effortlessness and ease here. Okay, now I know you're probably asking me, how do I know that? Well, for one, both of you guys are earth signs. Okay, so there's automatically an attraction where things, and let's be clear, earth signs can be very slow to making decisions. Okay, they want to drag things out, they want to procrastinate, they take up, which goes back to time management, right? So when you guys have come together, you guys are very fruitful in the conversation. Things are vibrant, things are growing, things are progressive. This is very much so, okay? Very much so. A very happy place for the two of you, okay? This is nothing but a good time. Every time y'all come around, it's that vibrancy, which is why I was like, why didn't we work out before? Remind me, what happened the last time we got together? Because this ain't making sense.
Hold up.
So this is definitely a energy that is here of like happiness and joy. It is collaborative. It is easy. This brings stability. And this also brings forth the manifestation of the dreams that you guys have had separately and collectively, okay? Not necessarily right away, but the anticipated outcomes of this connection is going to be met in every which way possible, okay? So I'm telling you now, this is what's favorable. Now, what is a problematic cycle that you keep on repeating? The Hierophant. Okay, the Hierophant. Every time you get involved with somebody, you start immediately trying to find, is this the one? Can this be the one? Is this the person I'm supposed to marry? Is this the person I see my life with? Okay. And what Spirit is saying, you in the past have always attracted somebody who is vastly different from you. Okay. Like the card says, one person has the feet on earth and the other person's looking at the heavens, right? So there was always a polarizing feeling to the people that in the past you have attracted, which is why it was also very shocking about, dang, whatever happened to us? Like, why did we stop talking? But it had nothing to do with you, person A, at all. It had nothing to do with you.
Just a messy man.
They simply put, were not ready. Okay. They were not ready. They were ill prepared. And it was not because of you. You had nothing to do with it. This was all that X that he needed to put to the side. Okay. So you basically, again, you avoided dealing with crap that you really shouldn't have been dealing with. Now, I'm not going to tell you this person is not here trying to play games, trying to start stuff with you. I'm not going to tell you that they didn't, because they are very salty that this person is not entertaining them anymore. Now, the next question then becomes, what is it that Spirit is trying to teach you? Okay. We got the Ace of Pentacles in reverse. All right. Spirit is trying to teach you to be very, very, very careful about putting all your eggs in one basket. Okay. Spirit is telling you that while this situation may be vibrant, while it may be glowing, while it may be showing you all of the good things, you have to be very, very careful about where you're putting your time, your energy, and your effort. Okay. That's the first thing. The second thing is Spirit is trying to teach you to surrender. Okay. You can't control everything. And remember, that came out in these two cards, here and here. Okay. So Spirit is saying, go with the flow. Stop putting all your eggs in one basket. Stop being over invested in people who are not necessarily invested in you. Okay. People make bad decisions all the time, but that's a part of your journey and you cannot control the outcome. Falling in love and being in love and loving somebody is the biggest risk you can ever take in your life because it's soft. These are intangible things that you cannot predict. It could work really well or it can go really, really bad. Okay. So what Spirit is telling you is don't get caught up in the what ifs, because what if it did go well? Okay. Don't be overly invested. Just go with the flow. Let things lead where they are. And you will see. But Spirit is trying to also tell you Don't over invest. Meaning, don't do too much. Because, sometimes girls, we get into relationships and we just let everything out. And next thing you know, it blows up in our face. So what Spirit is saying to mitigate that is to go with the flow. Don't be attached to the outcome and don't overinvest. And I know that's the hardest thing for us to do because when we in love, boy, we smitten. Okay, we smitten. Now, if you know that Spirit is teaching you this lesson, I want you to write it down in the chat. Like, what you think you could be doing better? Because I know that's my problem too, and I didn't even know her time, for real, for real. All right, now, healing. What is it that you need to do to heal? What is it that you need to do to release? We got the Knight of Cups in reverse. Okay? You need to stop thinking about this situation like this is every other thing from the past. There is a fear here, and which is why you're controlling the outcomes, which is what you need to surrender. You're worried about getting your heart broke. You're worried about feeling deceived. You're worried about feeling like, oh, this might not work for me, and da-da-da-da. And while all these things may be very true, okay? Just like God has protected you before in the past, he will protect you with this one. It's the same God yesterday, today, and forevermore.
God did.
Okay? So Spirit is trying to tell you, pay attention. Okay? Don't be fickle. Don't be funny acting with it. Don't be worried about somebody being somebody that they not, and all the vanity and all the disappointment and all. That's fine. That comes with it. Okay? The fleas come with the dog. Go with the flow. Don't worry about the outcome. What will be, will be. Okay, what will be, will be. Now, what is it that you need to do to grow? Woo! Y'all, the Lovers. I cannot make it up. The Lovers just fell out, y'all. Do you hear me? Baby, Spirit is telling you to work on your partnerships. Worry about mingling. Okay, I was about to say something else and I couldn't think of the word. But think about how you can grow from building and establishing partnerships, okay? Establishing a friendship, enjoying the harmonious experience of being in something new, something vibrant, something grand, something marvelous, right? Go with the flow and just enjoy it. Okay? Spirit is saying, and don't try to put everything on social media. Don't be running to the internet trying to get people all involved in your connection because it ain't their business anyway. Are they not going to be happy for you? So, what are we waiting on? What are we really waiting on with this? Okay? It's nobody else's business. It ain't none of your friends' business. Okay? Enjoy your relationship in peace and have a great day. Now, at the bottom of the deck, we got the Tower. Okay, at the bottom of the deck, we do have the Tower. So with this does represent sudden change, shock, chaos, okay, and upheaval. Now, one thing I will say, again, this goes back to how this person in the past was playing this balancing act, okay? They were passing this balancing act. They were over here trying to juggle, trying to deal with you and this other person, and it just didn't work, okay? So there may be a point in time or another where this particular person has some type of altercation between you and this other ex that's here, okay? Very possible, all right? But nevertheless, it's not going to last. Okay, it's not going to last. And that's why I said that this other person here may be very much so a hater in that regards of how they are trying to dim your light, trying to make you look bad, trying to do things to shame you and all the things like that. And it's just not going to work. Okay, because at this point, this person is confident in their decision to move forward with you. And they are confident that they want to do this thing with you. They just possibly needed to make up their mind to be clear on what it is that they wanted. All right. So with that being said, let's get ready to look at the hidden agendas and motives. All right. Here we go. All right, so this is where spirit goes a little bit deeper and exposes what is hidden, what are the true motives and intention between you and your person, and what both parties could be potentially avoiding. All right, so what in the world is going on here with this person? What is hidden in this connection? What is hidden between these two earth signs? What is hidden between these two earth signs? Thank you, Mr. Black Eyes, for dropping by. You can always exit out. All right, so what is hidden and what is the true motives about this? Ooh, okay. Dog, y'all. I got 5 cards that just fell out. Okay, so the first thing that is being hidden is the amount of time, the stagnicity here. Okay, and that was something that was obvious in the beginning of this connection, but now that the reason being for the delay was hidden from you. You could not see this at first, person A. Okay, you didn't know, you just thought that they fell off for whatever reason, and that was that. Okay, you had no idea that this person was still dealing with somebody else. You had no idea that that they were dating someone else. You were just a part of their routine. Okay, and unfortunately they did play a little bit of mind games, which came out here, right? So that is what kind of drove this breaking point, this distance that was there originally. Okay, now we also got the 5 of Pentacles. Okay, so that takes me back to the leaving of this other person, this other ex that you guys had to overcome, that obstacle of that, putting that aside and celebrating the fact that you left this person out in the cold. Now, I know nobody ever wants to celebrate the fact that, you know, somebody moved on without you. You know, it's a harsh, cold feeling, right? But you also have to be responsible enough to know when something isn't working for you, just stop dragging it out. So at this point, what I am not sure if this was decided before the reconnection or thereafter the reconnection. I am leaning heavily on after you guys reconnected that this took place. But this is what was hidden from you. They needed to tie up some ends with this other person. Stella, stop licking. Now, this was very exhausting for this other Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn to really have to do this, okay? They didn't want to pull the plug because they didn't want to look like the bad person. But the reality is, this situation with this other person was very much so toxic, and it was never going to evolve into anything more than what it was. So Spirit is saying they needed to leave this person alone, but they lacked the confidence. And so they needed to address the issues that were there and clean up and figure out, like, why were they even entertaining something they really didn't have the confidence in?
Brutality.
But once they came to the point, okay, when they came to the point of really, really understanding that they were not necessarily focused on the things that they really wanted, they were never going to be able to get what they needed out of this particular connection. That's when they came to the forefront of realizing, like, I have to do something fundamentally different. I have to do something fundamentally, just think about it comprehensively. Is what I am working on or working towards what I really truly want for myself and out of my life? Or am I just entertaining it out of comfort? Okay, so they had to really get real about what's most important to them and take back their power, take back their drive, take back their vision for what they wanted for themselves. Okay, this was something that they did not make, the decision that they did not make lightly. Okay, and they did not take pride in leaving this person alone like this. They just did not. Okay, so this made them feel very sad that they had to up and cut things off abruptly the way that they did. But trying to have conversations with this person and trying to get this other toxic person to understand, like, we need to be done with this once and for all. Okay, we need to wrap this up. Like, this is not going anywhere. This will never go anywhere. Like, we need to stop playing games and deceiving ourselves about what the possible outcomes for this is, because at the end of the day, it's a wrap. Okay, so that was all the things that you couldn't see. Okay, those were all the things that you couldn't see. This was the true motives and the real intentions behind what was happening. So the question then becomes, why does this all of a sudden matter now? Why does this, not the devil card flipping out? Okay, so that's that toxic attachment that I was talking about. Why does this matter now? Why does this matter now? We got the Page of Swords upright. Okay? It matters now because they're finally coming to the point of understanding that you have to be honest with yourself. Okay? You can't play games. You can't deceive. You can deceive everybody else, but you cannot deceive yourself. Okay? You cannot deceive yourself. Oh, wow. We also have the Four of Swords in reverse. Okay? So again, coming to that awakening. Like, you can no longer continue to play yourself. Like, you think you're getting over on somebody else, but you're really playing yourself. Okay? And we got the Strength card here upright. So this is definitely speaking to the necessity to own back your power. Take back your power. Stop giving your power away to other people that are not serving you, right? They're not respecting you. So you have to respect yourself enough to know when you're going to leave and when you're going to head out. Okay? So this message of why does it matter now really is important for a person being into this masculine Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn energy that is here, because they in the past were pretty much again self-sabotaging themselves, right? So this is why this matters now, because they've come back across you another time, person A. This feels good to them. They recognize this. They love the energy, and they were like, why did we stop talking before the first time? Did I fumble like that for real? And the answer is yes, they did. They absolutely did. Okay? So I'm going to ask you to be honest. Did you see this before and you just avoided it? Or did you try to deflect and act like this wasn't really a thing? Because it definitely feels like person B kind of like knew that they needed to take this action. They just did not want to take this action. Okay? So with that being said, what do we do to move forward with this connection? All right, here we go. All right, so your mom's new man. So people can deceive themselves. Yes, people lie to themselves all the time. It's called being in denial, and it's also called being delusional. You know, so people do deceive themselves. You can trick yourself into believing a whole scenario that's not true. All right. So as we assess the outcomes together, remember, spirit shows us energy. However, you always have the free path and free will to decide what path you want to take and what do you want for yourself, right? This is where your free will comes into play. Okay. So how do we go about with this? Okay. Well, here we go. What is the potential final outcome for these two earth signs? What is the potential final outcome for this connection? Now that we know what's going on, what's next? Y'all, I can't make it up. We got the Empress card in reverse. Okay. So what that talks about is this person, they still gonna be dealing with this other person. That's why that devil card came flying out a minute ago. They have a very unhealthy, toxic connection to this other person. I don't know what that's about, but this is going to be the obstacle that you're going to have to overcome. Okay, we talked about it here, but this is going to be that obstacle that you're going to have to overcome again. Okay, this is so, they're not, let me tell you, it's not particularly person B that is committed. It is this other person that continues to come and to block and to try to hinder and try to impede on their happiness. They're not letting this other person go. So I hate to tell you, person A, but you're going to have to overcome this other person still trying to hang on for dear life. That's pissing me off. And I wouldn't be surprised also if this person lies about being pregnant. What else? We have the Knight of Pentacles. Okay. This person B, is going to be reassuring you at every cost that they have a plan, that they know what they want, they know where they're going, but it will feel like they're dragging their feet to do it. Again, dragging their feet, not because they're not interested, but because this other person is pestering them in the background. Okay. So knowing that they don't want to mislead you, they may start acting kind of funny while they try to resolve and bookmark that, book in that. But it feels like this other person is not going to particularly be helpful to that agenda as well. We also have the Ten of Cups in reverse. Okay. So this is definitely going to be devastating to you, Earth signs, person A. This is going to be very damaging to you because this is going to devastate you. Everything that you thought that you wanted in this person was showing up until this other person came back in the picture. And this is ludicrous. It's insanity. But we have to be honest with ourselves to know that there are people in our lives that have strongholds on us, over us, and they don't want to let us go. Okay. So this again is a reflection of person B needing to man up and to put an end to this connection. We also got the King of Wands in reverse. Okay. So what this is telling me is, unfortunately, this is going to be detrimental to the connection. And I was all excited for you guys until we got here. Okay. So what this tells me is whatever game they was revealing, whatever games they was trying to run will be revealed. The secrets will be exposed. I also feel like, as I'm looking back at this, I also feel like this third party here is not going to be happy with the fact that you, person A, are going to be pregnant. So they're going to intentionally place themselves as your nemesis. Okay. They are intentionally going to do things to try to play games with you. They are trying to be as disruptive as possible. Oh my goodness. One more card. Yeah. It's confirmed with the Six of Cups. Okay. Every time that person starts kicking up that fugazi, I want to say something else, but that F stuff. Every time they try to do that, this is going to start weighing on this other person's conscience. So what I am now feeling is like person B really isn't ready at all the way that they keep saying that they're ready for this. They want it, but they're not being actionable towards it.
What do you mean by that?
And we got the Knight of Wands here. So they're still blindly loyal to this other person. Oh, that pisses me off. Okay. Now I got to ask the question. Why won't this other person move around? Actually, I'm going to pick another deck. All right, Spirit. Why won't this other person move around? Why won't they move along? Move along. Why won't they move along, Spirit? We got the Ace of Swords in reverse. The Ten of Swords. And the Sun. They're not moving around because they also had an awareness, okay, that this is what they want. So they're willing to put up a fight, in other words. They don't care how long it's going to take, how burdensome it is, how exhaustive it is. They don't care. They want what they want, and they're going to remain indignant about it. They're going to remain hopeful. They're going to remain committed. In other words, they're not losing any sleep anytime soon. They want what they want, okay? And this is also self-induced trauma to themselves. Like, they're self-sabotaging themselves, okay? So their failure to release of this is causing their own turmoil in this particular connection because they just refuse to let go. They're holding on for dear life to have their hopes, their dreams, and their aspirations rejuvenated and revitalized. They have confidence in that. But unfortunately, that's not where this other person's heart is. So it is very irresponsible that you continue to try to sabotage someone else's happiness by imposing yourself upon them.
You raggedy bitch.
So it's very, very, very unnerving as to why they won't move around. Did this person see themselves being married to this earth sign? Did this third party person see themselves as being married to this other person? Ooh, y'all, the Queen of Swords. In reverse, let me tell you, this other third party person is pissed that they found out that they was being played. Okay? They're not happy with the fact that they were being played. And it is what it is. You know, like, really, for real, it is what it is. It's a part of the territory of dating. What else do you want to say? Like, this is what it is. So with this Queen of Swords being here, this is that manipulative energy, that resentful energy, that spitefulness, that projected anger for how things turned out. Okay? So this is very messed up. Okay, this is very, very messed up. Because, like, why would you come messing with somebody else's happiness? That's so petty. Okay? But let's be honest. Earth signs can be very petty when they want to be. Earth signs can go to very dark spaces and be very, very petty. So the question then becomes, with clear and precise messages, Spirit, will this deter this Earth sign from moving on with this other Earth sign? Will this deter these Earth signs from happiness? Yep. I got a yes, y'all. It will deter. But this will also, with the Wheel of Fortune, this will be a turning point in a relationship. So inevitable change is coming. This is inevitable fate. This is about ups and downs and predictable cycles, which is possibly why Spirit is saying you got to surrender. You can't control the outcomes of things. Let it go and let it flow. So what I'm now getting from this is what gave the distance between you. I know I said early on, you probably met this person and y'all kind of like stopped talking and then y'all kind of like connected. I recant that to modify it to say this. This third party is the reason why you and your other person were separated. And it's not you necessarily, earth signs, who are pregnant. It's this other person who's pregnant. That's so messed up. Or this person is lying and saying that they're pregnant when they're not. Let's be clear. People do play mind games, okay? People play a whole lot of games. And you have to be prepared for what is to come. Because I know that earth signs, you are going to be so disappointed with how this comes across. But hear me when I tell you, this is not the long term. It's more so like they need to go back and get themselves together and recalibrate.
What the this cannot be.
So I definitely think that you guys are on the track for something else beyond this. Just right now may not be the time. Okay, right now may not be the time. So with that being said, that's all I have for you guys. If this reading resonated with you, tell me what surprised you most and what hurt you. I would like to know that. Okay. Now, I also want to say thank you so much for sharing space with me. Again, I am Mimi Lightseer, and this is PiSeas Tarot with the Clarity for Couples episode. If something resonated with you, go ahead and give me the heart and feel free to hit the thumbs up and let me know what landed for you. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and join our community. Also, I did start doing celebrity readings on the weekends, so make sure that you go ahead and mark your calendars and, you know, hit the notify button for if it's somebody that I'm doing a celebrity reading on that you would like to catch live. Check the calendar. I do believe we have Jay-Z, Donald Trump, and Rihanna, Chris Brown coming up. Okay, so if you have somebody that you would like me to read, go ahead and submit your request here, and I will get it. Okay. Now remember, y'all, everybody is fighting a battle that you cannot see. So remember to be kind, patient, and gentle with others as much as you are yourself. How people treat you is not your business, but how you respond is. So make sure you leave a little bit of love everywhere you go, and I will see you next. Bye.